Dude, there is a war going on between men and women right now, and it's really sad. And I've been on both sides. I haven't been a man, but that would be so 2024 of me. But I've been on both sides as far as far as whose fault I thought that it was. And and I actually, at this point, I think that it's technology and we're blaming humans because it's easier. There's a war going on, dude. It's insane. In one element, when I got red pilled a little bit, and I did learn a lot. I've talked about that before. Hang on, I'm gonna do some cuts in this video. I don't know, man. On one hand, the red pill dudes are saying that women go after, and this is the part that I think is true. So on dating apps and stuff like that, women are all swiping yes to the same men, and they think that all the other men are ugly. So all of the women are going after one little tiny percentage of men. And I understand that I fully can understand that that's happening. I don't know exactly how to solve that problem. I think that there's a big issue is just with technology in general. But I don't feel like the answer is hating each other. For example, if to the people online, a clip or something will go viral of you. The other day this woman was talking, she goes, there are 5 categories that men put women into. And I didn't even watch it. I just thought that it would be funny to be I don't give a fuck what any of those categories are. Because I don't. But I don't, not because I'm not curious about what the male brain is thinking. The reason why I didn't give a fuck about that is because there are so many people giving so much information and it's all incorrect, and everybody thinks that they know the answer online. That's why I didn't give a fuck about that. But people, men, took that clip and they thought that the reason why I made that video is because I'm a raging feminist. They were judging my entire personality whenever I've been a pretty big, I'm not fucking Pearl, but I've been a pretty big advocate for let's not Julia Fox all men, you know what I mean? But they took that 2-second clip of me saying that and thought that I was a raging feminist that hates men. Anyway, I'm just fucking rambling, but yeah, I don't know what the answer is. So I've seen both sides of it very clearly. I have totally believed and seen with my own eyes the epidemic of delusional women. And I'm not saying that's the main problem. There is an epidemic, though, of delusional women that, I have seen legitimately, this is going to piss some people off, whatever, everything I says pisses some people off. I have legitimately seen a 100% solid 4, a mousy, a slightly overweight, mousy, not even a particularly good personality, annoying, loud, didn't necessarily have any redeeming qualities, wasn't an awful person, on Raya. And she wouldn't even be on Bumble because she'd only be on Raya. I met somebody out here like that. And there's a lot of women like that out here. Out anywhere. I'm in Dallas right now, but anywhere. An accountant. Somebody that works at, somebody that works at Cricket Wireless. Mousy. You know what I mean? Nothing. And I'm not delusional. In order for you, there's a reason. The whole entire point behind that app is to match with celebrities and kind of extraordinary people. Extraordinary meaning out of the norm. I'm not saying that everybody you meet on there is going to be extraordinary. They're probably going to be more awful than the average person. So I have seen that. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. So I know that that's out there. But I've also seen the same thing with like men. I've seen men only go after like a very, very hot woman, and then they get turned down or whatever, and they're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And it's like, go after. I don't understand why nobody is batting within their own league. I don't understand why batting within your own league became like extinct. And I guess like everybody's gonna say, hang on one second. Now, many men will say like, this bitch is single, she has no ring on her finger, she has no right to talk about this. The thing is, I am a very specific type of person, and I've realized this, and it feels cringy to even say that, but it's true. And that's what because I've been trying to like stuff myself in this box and like resonate with like one side or the other on this like romantic debate. And in reality, I'm not leaning into it in a sense that I'm just like bitter and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die alone. But I think that like I chose like a very non-conventional life path anyway. I moved to LA to do stand-up, you know, and I spent 7 years doing stand-up and being completely single and only caring about that one thing. And even though I haven't been doing stand-up, I still kind of have that same mentality. And that could very well be the path to emptiness. But it's my life. And it's my choice, you know what I mean? So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is like, I can have an opinion on this and you could be like, oh, you don't have a ring. Well, I mean, yeah, I've dated, and you know, we all know what happened with the last time that I dated. But right now I don't want to. And if I'm being honest, of course there's like times where I get lonely and stuff like that, but my main thing right now that is more important to me than finding a partner, much more important, and that's just, it feels kind of cringe to even say that because like I know the importance of that. I need to get my life together. I need to build something for myself, and I would lose my mind if I never got to go do the stuff that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And if I'm honest with myself, like at my core, I don't want to, because I know the recipe, like I know many times it doesn't work. These online dating and stuff like that doesn't work sometimes. And you know, but in order to like get a partner, in my mind, it's kind of like a math equation. You have to like download the dating apps. You have to go on a million dates, a million cringe dates that you cannot stand every single one of them. Then you find one that you really like and you end up settling down. That isn't really my goal right now. It isn't really my goal right now. So I don't want to do that right now. And as much as like I kind of almost, I mean, I don't think even if I could press a button and make myself different, I don't think I would, just because like I kind of like being my own person, you know? Hang on. So one could argue that I'm doing the same shit in many ways, but the difference in me and the people that I see crying on the internet about this stuff is that they want it and I don't. And then there's a whole bunch of other, and I'm like, oh, I'm so different than, you know what I mean? But I mean, I have had quite a different path than other people. It sounds weird to say. It sounds like I'm like trying to be odd or whatever, or different. That's just like cringe, but it's true. Like I've lived in Hollywood for 10 years trying to do like this one specific thing and not having shit else to do with, you know, any kind of serious dating and all that kind of stuff. And somebody said that maybe that's maybe that's a huge mistake, and I'm gonna fucking hate that I did that when I'm 70, maybe. But it is crazy to me, like, to the dude's credit, what I'm doing by putting myself in that situation is I'm like, I don't want to be preaching, and I don't want to be the pot calling the kettle black. Because in some ways I am, because I'm not after that. But there are women that are after that and they just like can't seem to find it. And I can't help but think, because of all of the women that I know, not personally, but through the grapevine, ones that I've met and stuff like that, that are completely average in every way imaginable and on like Raya. And I don't mean average. I'm not just talking about looks, which I think that that's a factor 100%. You want to date a fucking celebrity, you have to look a certain way for them. You have to. I'm sorry that I'm living on planet Earth, but it's true. If that is your obsession for whatever reason, whenever you're Susie in accounting, and you also don't look a certain way, and then your personality is super duper mid, that is like insane. I am so with the red pill dudes in that department. But another element of it that I don't understand is like, if they're only, like this girl that I met, it was a while ago, so I have no indication as to who this was. I actually don't even remember her name. But she was like only going after like professional athletes, CB list celebrities, stuff like that. And not only is she completely average in every way imaginable, I'm not totally being a dick about looks, that's not all what this is about at all. She could look any type of way and be in that industry, and then I would understand. Just because a similar industry, you're a comedian, you want maybe like a writer or somebody that understands, or somebody that knows this or somebody that knows that. You're an actress, maybe you want to date like a producer or something like that. Just because like-mindedness, even geographically, Hollywood, it's almost difficult to find in Hollywood somebody that's not like within that industry. So, but to not be in that at all and be like, ew, to the average guy is crazy to me. So I am kind of a pot calling the kettle black because I've dated people that, you know, have a bunch of followers and stuff like that. But in my defense, I've lived in Hollywood for the last 10 years of my life, been doing that stuff. That was my life. That was my interest. That was the life that I lived every single day, was being around these people. It wasn't, oh, I have this life that's completely different than all of this, and I just want to be able to have something to do with that. You know what I mean? And in my defense, I think I already said this, but like, I don't want that right now. I don't. And like, if I fucking wither and die and I didn't get it or whatever because I went after this like other thing and it was a huge mistake, then it was a huge mistake. You know, it's my life, whatever. But it is wild. I will say, like, I am not 100%. There are many mistakes that men are making. And I also, I have gone on dates with, you know, I've done the thing where you're like, oh, this was like a couple years ago because I'm not interested in dating right now. But I've gone on dates where I've been like, oh, okay, because I've been only dating this certain type of person, I'm going to go on a date with a guy who's fat, poor, and doesn't have a good personality. And he was mean to me. He was still mean to me. He wasn't good looking. He didn't have any money. And he didn't even have a good, he was like nice. Like, that's what got me to go out with him. But he wasn't like funny. And then like, as soon as we'd only gone out he started to be mean. And I just thought like, and then I went out with another guy that didn't have any money and he wasn't cool. I mean, like that, because I was like, maybe these people will be nice to me if I like scrape the bottom of the barrel. And that guy wasn't nice either. He also lied about a whole bunch of stuff, like straight out of the gate. That like stuff that I wouldn't date a person if they like fill in the blank, just like differences in being a person. He lied about all of them. And so anyway, I'm out of this because I don't care. I don't want to even try right now. And I know that's probably not the way. I'm probably going to die alone. That's fine. But it is interesting, the like war going on between men and women. And I do like in the defense of men, I will say that I do understand it in many ways. I am part of the problem, but I do understand it in many ways, because I have seen a solid 4 from accounting that would literally only get her men off of Raya. And I thought, why? That person is going to die alone. I might die alone. She's going to die alone before I die alone. Because that person is living in la la land. You know what I mean? And I've met a lot of them like that. So in that regard, red pill dudes are 100%, they're right in that regard. Now, but I've done a lot of defending of dudes on this ramble, but in defense of women, I will say, like, or maybe not in defense of women, but just like as a word of advice, I guess, to these dudes who are, and I'm running into them online. They're everywhere. If I say one thing about a date I went on, they're like, Betty was tall. Betty was tall though, wasn't he? And I'm like, well, actually I have a fetish for men that are shorter than me, but you don't know me as a person. Betty was tall. Betty was rich. Well, I mean, he might have been rich. He might have been rich, but they're just so angry. They're literally, because they're incels. And I actually don't mean that as an insult. I don't know what other word to use, because they're frustrated. And I've been sexually frustrated before, and I'm like a chick who isn't ugly. So I can't even imagine how it feels to be a dude and Stacy from accounting only wants a guy that's in the NBA. That's crazy. I'm with you on that, dude. But here's the thing, like, people are retarded and people are going to do their own thing. And the only word of advice that I can have, I mean, I have a lot of specific advice. Like, I don't know if you're like a man struggling. I think that most of the people that listen to this are women, but like a man struggling with this, I could fully like give advice as far as like dating profiles and stuff like that. Like, I know men are like fed up, and a lot of them are like, we're not even trying anymore. Fuck it. So that's fine. But like, if you are still trying and you want like maybe some advice from like the eyes of a female, I can 100% do that. I would love to not just be I would love to just not only be a contributing to the problem. But what I know just from being a human, because I haven't been a dude, and I know that it is very hard to be a dude. I know that. What you can't do, though, I mean, I guess you can, but I don't think it's going to contribute to a better society, is like, we can't just decide that we fucking hate each other and that we're not going to do anything, you know? Or that, I mean, I guess you could like lay back and just be like, whatever, but the like lashing out anger about it is wild. So I could just tell by whenever I post online, there are so many angry men out there. And I know there's angry women too. Like, that's besides the point. But like, there are so many angry men. Like, if I say one word about like a date I went on or something, there are 50 comments from men just being like, it's your fault, gonna die alone, probably went out with Chad. And I'm like, it really, number one, that's not the solution though, you know? That's not getting us anywhere at all. So, I mean, it's fine, I guess, live your life, have your emotions, but just to become extremely bitter about anything is not the answer. And I would kind of look, hang on. Sorry, it's gonna be a little bit louder. I just had to turn my air on, but, I know you didn't ask for my advice, but if you're sitting here watching this, you did. But a lot of people are going to comment and be like, well, you're on my channel, you're watching my video, so I'm going to give you advice anyway. I would work on myself. I would go to the gym. I wouldn't lash out at people online. I think that a lot of the problem isn't just that all of women are terrible and all of this stuff. There's a lot of like biological stuff that attracts many of them to things like money and stuff like that. It generates from like security, and back whenever we were, you know, in the wild, and we would die if we weren't with like the strongest man and stuff like that. So I think that maybe like, as gay as it sounds, like working on yourself is probably the answer. Because that's what I'm doing right now in like a different way. I know I'm not a dude, but like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna work on myself, and I'm gonna get myself better. Like I'm gonna make a bunch of money and stuff like that, and I'm gonna work on my health, and I'm gonna try to look better than I've ever looked before. And I think that couldn't possibly be anything but positive, you know? So if you're a dude and you're struggling with that stuff, go carnivore. Go to the gym. And I'm saying that because it'll make you feel so much better. I'm not saying it to be a dick. I'm saying like it just, and if you don't want to, don't. But also don't want to and then also lash out at women online when they say that they just went on a date. You just have to work on yourself and, you know, work on yourself, go to the gym, find a passion that isn't just going to your 9 to 5, because I know my passion is never going to my 9 to 5 or fill in the blank of whatever hours I'm working. And I think that that's the only way. I don't have the answers, you know, but I think that it's the answer right now. I think that that's the only answer right now. But don't lash out at people online because you're mad that they're dating the wrong people. That it makes you look like such an incel. And harboring those feelings is written all over your face and written in your personality and the little things that you say, and it will repel women even further. Anyway, good luck out there, because it's a nightmare for fucking everyone, and yeah. Okay, bye.